Hey everyone, Scott with Forever Armed. Today I want to talk about port loading a shotgun. When you would do it, how you would do it, and why you would do it. Port loading your shotgun is something you do when your gun is empty. Either you're initially loading it, or you are in a fight and you've shot your gun empty, but you still need to keep it up and running in the fight. Alright, now let's take a look at how to port load. First, let's take a look at the setup that I have here. On the side here you can see I have a Velcro shot card, sometimes also known as a side saddle. I have the brass ends facing up and I have the cartridges pulled up a little bit so I can get a better purchase on them. If they're down like that, it's going to be harder to get at and it's going to take longer. So I keep them up as high as possible while still utilizing the elastic on this shot card to hold the shells in securely. So some guys will have their shells with the brass side down and they have to pull it out from underneath and then come around underneath the shotgun and port load this way. In my opinion, that requires more fine motor skills. I think there's a higher chance of you making a mistake or dropping a cartridge on the ground. I like to keep my gun handling as simple as possible, and I believe that coming over the top of the receiver and dropping in the port is far easier. So that's the way I do it. So let's take a look at this step by step now. So I always handle my guns as if I'm in a fight. So I'm going to have my eyes and my gun facing the target. In this case I'm at a range and I have a berm right here simulating as my target. So I've got my gun out, my eyes on the target. I'm going to bring the action to the rear, keeping my head up and my eyes on the target the entire time, keeping the buttstock tucked underneath my arm and my elbow tucked in. I don't want my elbow out. I want to keep my arms and elbows as tight to my body as possible to make myself a smaller target. As I'm going to grab for a cartridge, I'm going to go sweep along the shot card looking for the first available one. This is the first available one, so I'm going to pull it out, having the gun slanted a little bit to an angle. I'm going to come over the top and drop one in. Okay. Now, as I'm bringing my hand around here to the fore end, I'm bringing the gun up and loading that cartridge into the chamber and getting my sights on target. This has all happened simultaneously so that when I bring the gun up and it's on target, I can now put my finger on the trigger. Okay? So that's going to be the step-by-step process for port loading. Now, if I was just initially loading the gun, I could just bring the gun up, keeping my eyes still out on the target, and keep my head up and then go ahead and proceed to finish loading this magazine tube. Alright? Another reason you don't want to have to be concerned about looking at what you're doing is because you could be doing this in the dark and you wouldn't be able to see your gun that well anyway. So you always want to keep your head up anyways looking at your target. Alright? Okay, so now let's take a look at port loading during a fight. So in this demonstration, I'm shooting my gun until it goes empty, but I still need to effectively keep my shotgun up and running in the fight, and I'm going to do that by port loading. Alright, so there you have it. Just to recap why you would port load, I showed you first on port loading when you initially are loading the gun. The reason for doing that is you're port loading the first round into the chamber, so number one, you know you've got a round into the chamber in case you need to start fighting. It also allows you to then fill the magazine tube up with 8 rounds. Now you've got the gun filled to its maximum capacity. And the second reason for port loading would be in the middle of a fight. If you shoot your gun empty, now you can effectively keep the gun up and running by port loading it. So that's pretty much it. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Once again, this is Scott with Forever Armed, reminding you to be ready for the moment. You must train for the moment.